uh-uh. Uh. This is my first time doing a live video. I've never done anything live with the exception of like Facebook Live. When I do my radio show, and actually I'm within the comfy confines of my cribs, which that's a misnomer. Like as to its cleanliness or order at this current venue, because we're about to move into a new crib soon, Lord willing. But I wanted to do this video, just to do my first foray into live, because I don't even know what it looks like what a screen would look like in a live format, like how like I don't like somebody just came out, I don't even know who the fuck is on. How the fuck do you do this? Let me see something. Oh yeah, my bad. Boop. So yeah, I'm not sure like how the live works. So basically, I want to do some feeling out in addition to get the fuck out of here, my cat. Get out. In addition to adding a little snippet of information of what my last regular video left out, like in brief, like the stuff that I discussed in my regular video. And I'm not gonna be long. I'm mad long in like all my videos in comparison to some of the videos that I do like, or some of the channels that I like. I.e. like Fanon. Fanon be doing good videos that are like straight to the point, like in 15 minutes. And I guess I gotta try to like siphon all the content that I do try to give, like which is off the top of the dome, and like make it more like brief. But the fuck was I talking about? But what I do want to start doing, like what I talked about in brief before was 1 second. Um, what I wanted to talk about was the fact, um, like some of the money that Wilder's going to be taking home and that Fury's going to be taking home. Um, I think off like a general synopsis, it was around the $20 million threshold, which I put for Wilder, like caking up, and that was going off like the pay-per-view money being somewhere like in the $14 million range for each fighter, based off the 350 plus um, times $75, and that's 300. That's definitely 350 plus too. Get the fuck out of here! Hold on, my fucking cat's being. Get out of here! You never play with that shit. Now you're gonna play with it now. But that was basing it off the 350 plus that uh pay-per-views that were sold by Wilder and Fury, and which I think is going to be more than 350. It's probably going to reach 400. Um, Also, one of the things that I couldn't factor because you know I don't know how to like I that's not going to come out like off the rip. You may never come out, but like the pay-per-view that was sold via PlayStation, the pay-per-views that was sold with what do you call it? Like the people that watched it in the theater, I know that like there were 3 or 4 theaters, like just in Manhattan alone, that were showing it, like here in New York City. Um, and I didn't check like for every theater across the country that was doing it, but I think you would put your zip code onto the website that would sell the theater tickets, and they would tell you like what the closest one was. So I don't know or kind of give a shit like what the fucking how many theaters showed it online, but they definitely made some money off that. So let's call it an even. If it was 25 a piece, around the million. So, and I'm not gonna tally that up because I don't want to do it off the top of my head, like with the nervousness of being live my first time. But you had about 14 million going to each fighters just on the pay per views alone. Then you had the PlayStation cats, the theater, one thing I did in fact. Oh, and then you had the live gate. I'm not sure how the fuck you get the live gate numbers, like how they tally that, but and I don't want to come off with the number off the top of my head, but we'll call it like 5. I don't know, 4 or 5. Then you also have to factor fucking which I didn't do before, the pay-per-view numbers in Great Britain. And I heard Fanon say that was going to be 50-50 to each fighter. I don't know how they tally that shit though, cuz like the numbers that be coming out for like the AJ fights, like they're usually done through Sky, or like Sky's the one that puts the numbers out like after the fact, but they're sold on Sky. Like if so like I think it's like a little bit funny style, not a little bit funny style. It's mega funny style that Sky puts out the numbers for what they sold on pay-per-view when they're being sold on Sky. Like, so I think like that maybe other people, other entities like BT, like their rivals, or like there's not like a governing body that oversees like what's sold on fucking pay-per-view in Great Britain. But if Anthony Joshua versus fucking bum ass Povetkin sold, according to them, then this definitely sold a fucking million. I don't give a shit how popular AJ is in Great Britain. And I'm not gonna say that Fury's anywhere near as popular as AJ, but I'll give it that he's half as popular as fucking AJ. Wilder has some fucking fucking cat, man. Wilder has some sellability in the UK because fucking he has the AJ supposed attachment to him. So you got to factor that in. And then if AJ's fights with Klitschko and with all these other cats who are equaling about $1 million, there's no way in fucking hell with the potential of a Wilder fight being out there, and a lot of people know that he's sort of ducking Wilder, or it's not even like a question in the sense that next pay-per-view match that Anthony Joshua did was against a non-Wilder guy, like, so it was Povetkin in this instance. So I don't think that sold like fucking anything comparable to like Klitschko, and I think the Klitschko, according to Sky, was around 1.2 million pay-per-views. That might be Fugazi. I have a feeling that a lot of that stuff is bullshit. So if Wilder Fury sold around $1 million or in that threshold, and that's more money that got to be divvied into it, and that's more money that Wilder made. So I think at the end of the day, it's safe to say, very safe to say, that Wilder's fucking money from all this is gonna equate to around $25 million. Now some fucking asshole is gonna come back and say, well, he had to pay his trainer and this and that, or try to put in costs that are attributed maybe to every fucking fight, and then try to front like when they say numbers, like for a fucking AJ fight, they'll never mention that shit, but like they're gonna try to fine tune their arguments, and just to try to downplay fucking what Wilder made. To that I say fuck them. Like, I mean, like, that's not like real information. That's just fucking hating shit. Like, fucking hating shit for God knows what reason, when like nobody in the past ever gave a shit about like these pay-per-view numbers with this much vigor. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody was bringing up hard body that I remember Mayweather's numbers in contrast to fucking Pacquiao's numbers. Like, I don't like, and Mayweather could have, like, or Kemp Mayweather could have, and I don't remember them like fucking stomping their feet about that stuff. It's almost like with the Anthony Joshua like camp, they're trying to convince you that there's this like huge disparity that favors fucking AJ when it comes to these like fucking like pay-per-view buys or how big of a star he is. And to me, that's like non-existent. And AJ ain't shit out in the States. I'm telling y'all, like, fucking, if he was anywhere near comparable to Wilder, which I don't think he was like a week ago, he's definitely not fucking anywhere near Wilder now. Like, not even close. Like, fucking people AJ, like after the Klitschko thing, in some boxing circles, which are mostly casual boxing circles here in America, for sure. But the expected path that they thought AJ would follow would be to fucking fight Wilder next. I mean, if they knew of AJ, they definitely knew who Wilder was. Because if you know an semi-unknown like fighter that fought like Klitschko, you would have the other heavyweights that are in the division at that time. So you may have known of AJ, you may have known of a Wilder, you may have known of a Fury. You definitely ain't gonna know who the fuck Dillian White is in those instances. More likely than not, you wouldn't even know who Luis Ortiz is if you're like in that casual, like somewhat like watches boxing here and there, like bracket, if you will. So I mean, AJ could have kept his name popping by fighting Wilder shortly after he fought Klitschko. Maybe not immediately, but if you wanted to go chase the belts, fine. Like nobody's knocking you for that. Chasing championships is always a commendable path to follow. But he can't. You can't say that his name was continually popping or even moving up in the world, fucking in America when he wasn't fighting the other heavyweight that was still out there. And say what you want, his name hasn't been ascending probably even in the UK. Like that's probably reached its threshold or its highest, it's as high as it can go without fighting Wilder. You can't sell like nobody on no fucking Usyk, which according to CJ Goodfellas, subscribe to him. Subscribe to Phenom Boxing too. Like if I didn't mention his name earlier when because I think I mentioned his name in this stream. Phenom International Boxing. But his name isn't steady. Like according to CJ Goodfella, on a video I saw of his, like that Frank Warren was claiming that AJ's next fight was going to be against what do you call it? Against Usyk. One second, let me fucking change the brightness on this. My bad, people. Just while I'm out. Damn, I can't see like none of the chats or anything like that. If they're even coming, I kind of doubt. Oh. Yo, Los. Oh, now I can see a fucking chat. God damn it. Los, what up, bro? Yo, fucking I gotta get you on one of these days, man. Like, get off my shit. No, I was talking to my cat. Like, fucking peace to Los, man. Like, make sure you check out Los Dawkins channel. It's LOZZDAW. It's on the chat. LOZDAWKINS. This fucking cat's busting chops, man. Like for the duration of this video. But shout out to Los. But according to CJ Goodfellas last video, he was saying that Frank Warren said that Usyk is gonna be Anthony Joshua's next fight. Now say what the fuck you want about Usyk. Like I like Usyk. I mean, like it's cool that he got all the belts and like that. That's great, fantastic. But Usyk's still an unknown like that. Like I mean, like a lot of the people that he fought, I don't even remember their names, bro. Like to win the belt, the people that he beat, like to acquire those belts, like I don't know who the fuck they are like that, bro. Like straight up, like he's not like and then he got like that funky name. He doesn't speak English. Fucking you're gonna tell me that this is the fucking sloth that you're gonna put like to fight God's gift to fucking to trannies and fucking women fans like AJ? Like give me a break, bro. Like you're not gonna be able to sell that to the British public for long, bro. And they have a lot of bum fights in the UK at times, like fucking but if you're making it seem like AJ's a world class like or world level fighter, you're not gonna be able to sell like a fucking cruiserweight champion or not, like to the British public, and then get away with like running out of Dillian White there. It's not gonna happen. Like I'm like people are gonna start turning on you, or you're just gonna cap out at what you're doing now. That or less. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause you're not in big fights like as you were like doing two like the only time as you were doing when you fought Klitschko. Like fuck the ranking bullshit that everybody wants to bring up. Like when it's convenient to them, rankings are funky as fuck. Like if you don't watch boxing all the time, then and you bring, I mean, if you bring up rankings as some sort of tangible like fucking selling point, which nobody's ever done in the history of like potential matchmaking in the past, then you don't know boxing or you don't watch boxing frequently. Frequently, matchmaking is funny as shit. That shit could be doctored. Like sometimes somebody's a bottom of the rung number 40 fighter, and then all of a sudden he makes it to like number 8. I think somebody made a good video about that. I think it was AA Boxing and Blunts in ranking like some of the opponents that Dylan White fought to get to where he's at now. How they had like, and it's not like a narrated video or anything like that. He's just showing like fucking video evidence of like where those opponents were like prior to or immediately before fighting Dylan White, and then like right when he fought them, and then like and even Dylan White's rankings, it had like kind of like that same sequence of events, like where it was like he was like a top 20 or like number 19 guy, and then fucking all of a sudden like now he's the silver champion, which means Dick. It means Dick Bow. Like silver champion, nobody even mentioned those things before. Like regular champion, like I wouldn't even carry a fucking silver champion belt, bro. I wouldn't even. I don't know how those sanctioning bodies do. Like I know they make you pay fees, but if they were like making you pay for the belt, and you're gonna give me a fucking silver belt, like get the fuck out of here, bro. Like why would I pay for that? Like I never rock silver, like fucking period, bro. That's for like fucking Italian dudes. Like I take that back, bro. Like fucking no, because Italian dudes be rocking them like corny silver chains, like out here in New York, like fucking fronting, like it's white gold. They be hitting that shit up with a toothbrush before they go out, like fucking acting like they got something expensive on. Shout out to all my Italian people. But and my wife is Italian too, so I'm allowed to say that. But so like with you can't run out like a Dillian White as infamous or famous he may be in the UK, and think that AJ is this world level fighter whose accolades or current name are not in the same threshold as fucking Deontay Wilder. You just can't do it. I predict that they're gonna turn against them when they keep running out these sub level B type fights. And it's not like AJ's a spring chicken. I think he's 29, if I remember off the top of my head. So you're gonna waste like these good years like fighting like fucking a cipher. I know like and because they like people mention like, and I see that in the comments sometimes, like people mention, oh well, if this thing with Wilder doesn't get done, then I'd like to see a Usyk like White. And those are like, I think honestly I think those are people that Matchroom is paying to get on the comments and stuff like that, because new media is like a very 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 viable source of like where people are getting their news from, particularly when it comes to boxing. People don't read magazines any longer. Like people don't read or people don't like they had like that one HBO boxing show with Jim Lampley, fucking terrible, and it would come on. It wouldn't even come on every week. It would come on like sporadically. And that was the old way of doing things. Like let's formulate a plan, like that, or rhetoric, and let's run that out to the world. Fucking and give 1 second. Just trying to see if let's run that like rhetoric out to the world, and like nobody's gonna contend with that. Nowadays you got new media. Most prominently the LDBC. You got a lot of people that are willing to get on in front of a camera every fucking day if need be. And if you get out there every day and you getting in front of a camera every day, you can't be bullshitting. Like some of these cats that are like defenders, like on the AJ side, I noticed that none of them get on the fucking. I mean, they may put a video out every day, but they don't go live. ever. I mean, if they do, it's probably like fucking it's like that snipe beef type live, like fucking or like when somebody would have beef with you back in the day, and they said they ran by your block, but they came like at 7 in the morning and shit when nobody was out there. Like, but when it comes to like Hatman or like I never seen Hatman go live. Like, I mean, maybe he did back in the day, like when I first listened to him, but I don't even remember him going live before. But none of these cats like fucking they'll go live because they don't got truthful shit to say. They gotta make shit up as they go, or they gotta like think of what they're gonna say. If you gotta think of what you're gonna say too hard body like that, you're probably bullshitting. They're probably coming up with a script. And I mean, like, what's the point, bro? Like, we got too much of that as is nowadays. Like, fucking, that's not dealing in reality. The reality, that we're facing, like, fucking, with the hopefully like, that gets match that gets consummated between AJ and Wilder is at this current venue. Wilder just came out and did his first pay per view. Upon his first try doing pay per view, he made comparable to fucking AJ's best numbers or AJ's average numbers. Period. He's pocketing that much money with this one pay per view, first time go. So I mean, to make it seem like they're not in the same threshold, I mean, you got to be judging everything. Like now, you're going outside of boxing shit, which I'm pretty sure that they're formulating a plan to like come up with like non-boxing points as to why fucking Wilder isn't in the thresh in the in AJ stratosphere, and it's not true, and it's definitely not true here in the U.S., man, and it's less true in the UK now that like this fight happened the way it happened and it was a draw. Talking about it, you know what I'm saying? So AJ and Wilder could potentially run it back, and it could potentially sell double what this fight fucking just sold. I think and I was on a live video yesterday on somebody else's format, and they mentioned the fact that initially some people thought that this would maybe do 1 million, or that it would do like it was up in the air, and I did hear some channels like say that it might do a whole heck of a lot like that, but I think like the reality did set in, like fucking when you got all these other things like streaming to contend with, and like pay-per-view not popping off like the way it used to, like 350 was still good. I think like for this to be a fucking 350 is mad good actually, and like that's whatever it was, like I mean like what the number is, AJ's not making that money like here in the US. AJ's making zero in the US. AJ's making fucking 15,000 free or $10 subscriptions on the zone, which that might not even be true. Like they're not really, like I don't think there's any way to collect those numbers, but the numbers that were supposedly put out were 15,000 new or pay for subscribers on fucking shitty ass the zone. I don't know, want not a soul that knows about the zone. And I just started advertising for the zone like the night of the um it was like no, like 2 weeks ago, like during like the football games. It was like during a Cowboys game, and they were running Canelo out and that advertisement. They're still running that same advertisement. Nobody's getting the zone, bro. Nobody's talking about the zone. Nobody knows the zone for the most part exists here in America. I can't like speak for anywhere else, but here in America, no the zone. So that market that AJ could be making money on, he's making zero on, and this is the biggest entertainment market in the world. Everything's based out of this country, whether you like it or not. And I'm not like saying it being a fucking patriot, like or that I'm absolutely biased towards American fighters. Like I don't think anybody, and I said this in a past video, is biased towards American fighters. Period. We fucking hate each other in the United States, bro. We kill each other out here all the time, bro. Like it's like almost one of the reasons why guns might be a necessary evil out in like in the United States. Like people don't ride for each other like in the United States like that. Like what good or bad. Like it's just not the way shit goes. Like so I mean like some of these like things that these fucking AJ channels like or the AJ dick riding channels are coming up with, Like as far as saying Wilder fanboys, like you kidding me? Like how the fuck like he doesn't have fans and like now he has like these fucking fanboys who are going out with like vigor and like pumping Wilder causes, you know, and then you say like people don't show up to his events, like so it's like this quasi like fucking hermits like you're saying exist that only go online, like that don't have money to go to fights and fucking don't buy I don't know. It's just weird shit. Weird shit that like at the end of the day doesn't push for your fighter to be fighting a fucking good fight. And I'm sorry if you don't feel that way, but Povetkin was a bad fight. Fucking Parker, he had a belt, bad fight. AJ versus White Part 2, bad fight. Those are all bad fights. Like at the end of the day, everybody who's not named fucking Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Luis Ortiz are ranked between number 5 or number fucking 40. And Usyk doesn't like play into any of those rankings. Usyk can't beat like fucking um, top 10 heavyweight. I don't think he could beat top 10 heavyweights like that. I don't think so. Like fucking so and Usyk on top of that doesn't have any fucking allure to an American or UK market. Like so if you're gonna run a Usyk out, like hey, more power to you. I think these dudes like have the potential of running it back, and you'll be on the outside looking in when it comes to mega fights, like mega fights. When you had a mega fight last was against Klitschko, and AJ versus Parker had over 1 million pay per view. All my in my eyes, the pay per view numbers. I couldn't see the last part of that. In my eyes, the pay per view numbers for Fury Wilder was a flop. That's in your eyes. And thanks for the chat. But I'll tell you that you're wrong in your assessment, and here's why. AJ um, Parker's numbers were 1 million according to Sky, and Sky actually puts the fight out. So if it sold 1 million pay per views, that means their pay per view numbers were 25 million. That's fantastic, according to you. But if Wilder Fury did 350, that's about 25 million bucks too, and it's 350 plus. Those numbers still haven't come in. You haven't factored in like the PlayStation numbers, like I indicated before. So it's at the very least, it's probably fucking 20 million at the very best. If it's approaching 4, I don't even know what the math is on that, but it's definitely within that threshold. It's definitely within, you know, the unflinchable fucking AJ threshold. So, and this is Wilder's first time go. It's Wilder's first time go with things. And another thing too, bro, like you know, whoever that was, like I didn't get your name, but you, cause like the comments aren't like staying up, and I only had like 2 comments. But I don't give a shit if you come back here like and contend your point. Like I'm willing to. AJ Parker did not do 1 million pay per views at all. Oh, capital LOZZ. That's my boy Lois Dawkins. Like fucking like I'm not sure what the pay per view did offhand, but from what I was hearing, it was 1 million pay per views in the UK. I'm not sure, but that was and again that like I indicated it earlier in the video, that was numbers that were I believe produced by Sky, and Sky actually made the pay per view, so they could be bullshitting. They could be bullshitting, and topically, I kind of think they were bullshitting, and here's why: because Klitschko versus AJ was a humongous event, right? So now you're not fighting another Klitschko-esque type fighter, fighting Klitschko. You're fighting level guy, and those numbers are still comparable. Let me see. Hay versus Klitschko had over 1 million paper. Yeah, but Hay versus Klitschko. I mean, like that was like in the prime age of pay per view though too. I'm talking now, like today, like, and we're talking, and when I'm not like the if the and like the Klitschko fights in the past, like I mean that was like sort of in the golden age of pay per view, and that makes like, and again like that makes like Wilder's pay per view numbers even more commendable, because according to some people, pay per view is dead. Um, and this is not according to anybody, but fucking most people stream fights and like order it outside of pay-per-view. Yeah, I know Sky always bullshits Big Los, like fucking but you know, this is Wilder's first time go, in addition to Fury's first time go on US pay-per-view, and they still pulled that 350. So I mean, like, you know, that's nothing to be sneezed at. And bigger than all that is that fucking AJ is getting zero in the US. There'll be more number. It wasn't $90 or whatever. Nah, it might be, that might be right, but when Leonard, but the thing is that pay per view doesn't happen often in the U.S. Like the last pay per view match we had in the U.S. was Canelo Triple G, and yeah, those are like, you know, they're between like fucking 50 to $100, but you know we may get like two pay per views per year, and I'm being totally candid. I don't buy every pay per view anymore. Like I used to buy like a lot of Canelo's pay per view. I didn't buy like Beefy Smith or Canelo versus Amir Khan. Not because Amir Khan or Beefy Smith were UK guys. Like I love UK fighters, bro. Like I wish the atmosphere in the US were like the UK, like fucking straight up. Like I wish we got behind our dudes like that, even regionally, even like in a state. Like let's say the big fucking rice bag, Big Dusty Miller, was a good fighter. Like if New York City got behind like fucking Shitty Miller, like I'd find that like cool, but it doesn't happen like that. Like the only one I can remember from New York, like, and I'm from New York, was fucking Tyson. But Tyson had like all the allure in the world. Like he was like the guy, but it wasn't like that he was getting more love for from New York, like from New York City. You know what I'm saying? So we don't have like that backing, whether it be regional, whether it be nationally. Like, you know, America doesn't get behind like dudes like that. And that, you know, that's unfortunate. But I'm not saying that, but that doesn't mean like that doesn't take anything away from Wilder. Like with this pay per view number, I think that reinforces my point. Alpha, I won't buy a pay per view again. Not an AJ one. Nah, and I don't blame you. I mean, like, and it sucks too for fucking the UK. Like that, you guys got to be paying pay per view anyway. Like fucking because I mean, for you guys, if they ran that the zone shit and they just showed a big fucking rice bag, the tomato can, Dusty Miller. Did Wilder fight on terrestrial TV in the U.S.? No, that back in the day he did. Leonard. Um, this was like his first foray into the pay per view market. So, being that it was his first foray, and being that a lot of other fighters, including Mayweather, Triple G, like when they had their first go at pay per view, they did Mayweather did around the numbers that Deontay Wilder did, and I think Mayweather probably netted less money than what Deontay Wilder will net with this pay per view. And then you had Triple G. Triple G did morbid in his fucking past pay per views, like terrible. And I mean, like Triple G, say what you will, at this current venue, might be a top five draw in all of boxing. You know what I'm saying? All of boxing. Triple G could pull more numbers than fucking Mikey Garcia or Errol Spence or fucking any Mexican maybe outside of Canelo. You know, and Triple G's first foray, first go at it with a good opponent in Danny Jacobs, he netted way less than fucking what Wilder and Fury did. And you know, a lot of this is applicable to Fury too, in the sense that, you know, prior to AJ's last fight against Povetkin, I know there was a negotiation, at least topically, or like they were prodding for a Fury negotiation according to Fury, and I think I don't know if AJ like put anything out there like that, but they were shading him too. Like they were give I think they were giving him a flat fee. I remember hearing something between 4 to 6 million that they were offering Fury. So this applies to them, like that level of like supposed disparity between AJ and the rest of the world. I mean, it's made up. It's made up bullshit. Like I mean, like, and I'm not like, if it was merited, El Flower Player, go to Sky Sports YouTube channel and you will see the Sky Sports are trying to big up. Nah, that they're trying to big up fucking Dusty Man Miller. Bro, I'm telling you, I live in Brooklyn, or I'm from Brooklyn. Nobody knows who fucking Miller is, bro. Like fucking and New York City is a good fight town. Fucking Miller could walk outside of the Barclays Center in Brooklyn after somebody else's fight. Nobody know who the fuck he is, bro. Like Miller is a nobody. Like, and I think the rankings being what they are, I don't even think Miller or Big Baby Miller is a. I mean, he's a fledgling top 10 guy, but he might not be in the top 10. And like the shit that Laws Dawkins mentioned in his videos, and make sure you subscribe to Laws Dawkins Peace channel. Miller carries himself like he's this fucking big shot, bro. Like Miller has avoided every fucking um, fight that was offered to him that wasn't no big money like fight. And then he'll mention like fights like that he has plans for that could move him up the ladder of being recognizable or whatever have you. And they're just like fucking nobodies, bro. They're like fucking these like dudes from Mongolia, like fucking I mean that like fucking most boxing fans aren't aware of. And I'm not gonna front on you like I know like fucking every like thing that happens in the boxing world. Like I'm but like with the people that I run with, I'm probably like the guy who knows like the most boxing. I don't know like a lot of shit that happens like in the far ends of the boxing world, like or in the past. But here in New York and I'm pretty sure internationally, with the exception of they try to make him a pay-per-view over here. It will yeah, I know. I definitely think it's unfair to the British fans that they may try to like run that get that hustle, of trying to make potentially a Big Baby Miller AJ fight. I kind of don't think that they will, but you never know because I think Usyk versus AJ is a worse opponent than and I'm hearing like that they might run Usyk out. It's just like I mean like at the end of the day, man, they ain't nothing in the world like worth like anybody's time like that. Like if somebody's giving you shit product, then they deserve like shit results. Like you shouldn't reward somebody for giving you like bad treatment. Whether that be a bitch, if a bitch treats you bad, like you're gonna buy her fucking gifts, then you're an asshole. And it's the same thing like I'm sorry, if you're a lady or a woman and you treat somebody bad. Actually, no, it's applicable. Like, cause I said if a woman like treats you bad, and like a woman who treats you bad, in most cases, call them the B word. But if you're gonna keep upholding that or like rewarding that kind of behavior, then I mean like it's on you, like the consumer, um, to keep buying like subpar, a subpar product. So yeah, my wife's cooking now. Like you may be able to hear like the chopping in the background, and I'm fucking starving. I haven't eaten shit. I had to run to school like when I woke up, and I just got back now, and I'm fucking famished. But thanks for joining me. Thanks. Make sure you subscribe to Lowe's Dawkins P and his young assistant like that he had trying to help him the other day, like in his other video. I forgot to mention that. I'm assuming that was your son. Um, the subscribe to a lot of these LDBC channels, whether you think like they're like, which is not true, man. Like the LDBC like channels, like and actually I'm not gonna leave it yet. Like I'm gonna cover something like that is misconception. The LDBC is a necessary. I'm not gonna say evil. Is a necessity for these channels to operate because a lot of the coverage that's given to American fight. Thank you, thanks, Lowe's Dawkins. A lot of the coverage that's given to American fighters and especially particularly Black American fighters, it sucks. It's skewed. Like they're expected to go through these gamut of tough fights, and that's with boxing. Yeah, definitely, man. Shout out to your son too. I think you said your son's 10. I have a 16-year-old. Um, yeah, but a lot like the LDBC, like there was a void in the coverage that like these boxers received in the past. So being like, I mean, it's almost like a correlation of like the advent of like YouTube, or being able to get on camera like I am now, and like for people to actually fucking listen or give a shit. Then you had like HBO, like they got on like this pro like Eastern Bloc and Russian like fighter fucking phase that they went through for years. And even before like they got on that stuff, like these networks were still like kind of like shitting on American black fighters. And like it's almost to a point where if you speak to any fan, like fucking they usually never have nothing to say about like black fighters, including black fans, because like of what the media like would perpetrate. um and that's like with a lot of stuff, like with Mayweather being defensive, or Wilder being wild, or like it was, so like it's a necessary thing for, to have like people that cover things straight down the middle. Like now, I'm not gonna be one of these people, or I'm not gonna be the type of person that like regardless of what a certain fighter does, that I'm gonna ride with it. Nah, I mean, and that has no agenda like tied to it or nothing. Because if that was the case, I'd be fucking riding Danny Garcia like as a Puerto Rican fighter. I'm Puerto Rican, and I'm not gonna do that shit. I think Danny Garcia is a fucking he's avoiding good competition. Do I like Danny Garcia? I don't normally watch these LDBC channels, but you're all right, bro. Normally I get instant block. Nah, but you should though, man. Like I mean, like if they have a lot of good like I mean a lot of great content on the LDVC, and like the only reason that it may seem as if there's a little bit of a of a allegiance to American black fighters. I mean, because like at the end of the day, like here, even here in America, like we're not like patriotic like that normally. Like you don't have like Spanish patriotic guys. Like I was in the military, and fucking I'm definitely not like an unabashed patriot like that. You definitely like don't have a lot of like patriot cats on any nationality. I don't even gotta mention nationality. Like, we just don't ride like that. Like you have outsiders that come into sports here in America that get mad love just because they're like an outsider. It just looks different, and we're used to seeing like black physical dominance across all our sports. That can't be yeah, shout out to the LDBC, man. I'm not even like I never asked anybody like to use the LDBC tag either. I think it's just like to me it covers all my bases, like how I feel about the sport. Like and the only person who could tell me that I can't use it like would be the fucking General 7-8. Shout out to the General. Like in anything I do, that he's the one that's created this format by and large. Like but it wasn't like I asked. Like I'm gonna try to like message him directly pretty soon, like so maybe he could look through my content and let so I could rock the LDBC tag like in peace, if you will. Now, but what I was saying before is that a lot of times like people that were from other countries were accepted, whether that be in the NBA with Dirk Nowitzki, with these players that are from Spain like the Gasol brothers. In baseball, like you have like these Japanese players. There's a lot of fanfare behind them, and it's just not because there's Japanese fans that are behind them, or even Asian fans, because there are a lot of Asian fans, but a lot of times it's just like people like to see like things that look different, I guess, like in our sports league or sports leagues. And with boxing, I mean, it's very hard like to be an American black fighter, and for people not to be you know like expecting like these abnormal things from you, or like with people shitting on you slipping up along the way once or twice, like so and not to say that I'm not gonna knock like fucking any fighter, like fucking I mean I think if you're doing shit wrong, like you know I'm not gonna like ride with it, like just cuz like, but like I mean I hope I'm being as unbiased as possible, and that my listeners or watchers like feel the same way, or my potential subscribers, all of that in you, Team Joe. like fucking feel the same way, like that I'm giving you content that's not like coming from anywhere with any predisposition or any anything behind it. You know what I'm saying? So with that, I'm gonna break out. I'm fucking famished and I gotta take a piss. Like fucking shout out to the LDBC. Shout out to the viewing boxing public. Like fucking you're the fans of a fledgling sport that I happen to love. And whether you're a hater of my content or a hater of the fighters that I don't like or a hater of the LDBC, at the end of the day, you know, you're a buying public. Whether you stream the fights, you know, you still talk about a sport that is at the in the thank you, Lois Dawkins. You're still like the fans of a sport that at the end of the day, like in the paradigm of every sport, might be ranked like number 10. You know, and it's to me, it's like sort of a dying sport. So like, I don't care like if you hate a certain fighter or love a certain group of fighters, so long as you're not doing it from a fucking like racist perspective, like Sean Newton. You know, I think like we need every bit of it to a degree. All right, so again for joining me and stepping into the Foul Playland. As always, I'm Foul Player. Peace. How the fuck do I turn this off?